In this video, we're going to take a look at Virtuoso's new AI inline step suggestions. Okay, so what this is going to allow us to do is basically have a kind of autocomplete or a suggestion when we write our test steps. So let's say I want to go and create an opportunity. So I'm going to create a checkpoint for that. Now, what's going to happen here, you can see that a step starts to be suggested. Now, to be very clear here, what this is not doing at this stage is starting to autonomously write test steps for you. The intention really is that while it may suggest a test step, what I will really do is say click on, and then I could just write, for example, opportunities, and it will come through and look into the application and see, basically suggest, do you mean click on opportunities, and put it into the speech marks for me. So that's fantastic. So I can say click on opportunities, and it goes and runs that test step for me. So next, what I want to do perhaps is, because the screen took a little bit of time to load there, I could start writing and say wait for, and then what it's going to do is look on and suggest to me. So if I just left it, it's going to suggest I could wait for opportunities, or maybe I want to specify and I could say start typing my open opportunities. And again, without putting the speech marks in, it's going to go through, and in this case, it's again suggested the actual test step that I should write. So the key thing here is that it's both making suggestions of the elements that I can interact with, but I don't really have to conform to the complete natural language syntax that Virtuoso has. Now what I want to do is go ahead and say, I could go and say button new, for example, and you can see it goes ahead and converts that into click on new. So I can go and click and save that test step. So this is just giving some suggestions around the elements or the syntax that I can use when I'm creating tests without necessarily having to know exactly the syntax for Virtuoso or the element name that we're interacting with. Okay, so now what I'm going to do, I'm going to come in, and let's say I want to write in the topic. So I might look for the opportunity highlights, and let's see if it suggests a test step for me. And of course, this is using generative AI, so we don't expect it to be correct all the time. But you can see here that it has said, wait for the opportunity highlights. So that's basically waiting for this to load on this part of the page. And then I could say, I want to write topic. And just by doing that, so you can see that what it's done is suggested to me, actually, I want to write something on the topic, but it's suggesting a value that I could put in there. So I'm going to put new business opportunity in field topic. Okay, so it's gone ahead and run that test step for me, and it's written into the topic field. Now with the form applications, what it may attempt to do now is actually look across and suggest the next one for me. So in this case, it's looked into a description field, which if we scroll down, we can see there is a description. However, we want to be able to actually go in the contact, so it's actually suggested another one to me to write John Doe in contact lookup. So let's save that. And we can see it's gone and written it in there. And then I could say click on john.doe at Acme. And just by writing that much, we can see that it's actually looked in and found the value that I want to interact with. So it's basically helping me without really having to go through and put in the complete syntax or the complete values. It allows me to start having suggestions. Now at this stage, what I'm actually going to do is say, I could just go button save, for example, which again is not our syntax, but by doing that, it recognizes that I want to click on save. And by saving that, you can see now how I've managed to write a small sequence of test steps where I didn't always adhere to Virtuoso's natural language syntax. It was able to convert things like the topic by saying write topic, and then suggested a value to me, and then suggested the next fields that I should enter into. So this is our AI inline step suggestions, which is more about giving suggestions rather than autonomously creating tests for you, but just a more productive and effective way to create test steps, even if you don't know quite the element names, or perhaps you're not completely certain of the natural language syntax for Virtuoso.